an air defense controller, Eastern Military District. January 2026. His name hasn't been released, his rank isn't public, but his job is precise. Track everything that enters Chinese airspace, classify every contact, and make intercept decisions within a window that closes in seconds. 4 contacts appear on his screen, moving fast, moving together, same altitude band, same speed profile, same radar return, which is to say, almost no radar return at all, because whatever these aircraft are, they are stealthy. Here is his problem. He has seconds to decide which of those 4 contacts is the manned aircraft. One of them is an F-22 Raptor, the most capable air superiority fighter ever built, with a radar cross-section roughly the size of a marble. The other 3 look identical, same signature, same formation, same silence on every frequency he has. If he shoots at the drones, he wastes interceptors that cost 10 times more than the targets. If he shoots at the wrong contact, his missiles go through empty airspace while the F-22 closes to firing range. If he doesn't shoot at all, the engagement is already over. There is no good answer. That is the point. In January 2026, the U.S. Marine Corps selected the contractors who will build the first operational version of the aircraft that just appeared on that radar screen 3 times over. The era of the drone wingman is not coming. It is here. And the problem it has created for Chinese air defense has no solution that currently exists. The CCA, Collaborative Combat Aircraft, is not a remotely piloted vehicle in the way that word is usually understood. There is no operator sitting in a trailer with a joystick. The CCA operates semi-autonomously, receiving high-level tasking from the manned aircraft it accompanies and executing that tasking using onboard AI. The pilot in the F-22 might tell it, scout that radar site, hold that bearing, absorb the first missile volley. The CCA decides how to do it. Think of it this way. You are an elite surgeon. You walk into the operating room and you have 3 residents who can anticipate every tool you need before you ask for it, who can keep the patient stable while you focus on the critical incision, and who, critically, are willing to take risks you cannot take, because losing one of them does not end the mission. The F-22 pilot is the surgeon. The CCAs are the residents. Except in this operating room, the residents fly at Mach 0.95 and carry air-to-air missiles. The XQ-58A Valkyrie, the platform currently being developed into an operational CCA, is a stealthy, jet-powered drone with a range of over 1,500 miles. It costs approximately $3 million per unit. An F-22 costs $143 million. For the price of one F-22, you can buy 47 XQ-58As. The math of that exchange, what it means for how many assets an adversary has to engage simultaneously, is the entire strategic premise of the program. China has spent decades building a numerical advantage in combat aircraft. The CCA does not eliminate that advantage. It makes it irrelevant. The moment this stopped being a concept and became a weapon happened on a test range in August 2023. The U.S. Air Force conducted the first flight of the XQ-58A Valkyrie under full AI control. No human pilot, no remote operator, just the aircraft's onboard systems flying a complete test profile autonomously. The flight was confirmed by Defense News and Flight Global. The AI performed as designed. That flight was not a demonstration, it was a threshold. The Air Force already knew the airframe worked. The Valkyrie had been flying since 2019. What August 2023 confirmed was that the AI pilot was mature enough to fly through a complete mission profile without human intervention. That is the line that separates a prototype from a weapon system. 6 months later, the Navy bought 2 XQ-58As. The Marines bought 2 more. In January 2026, the Marine Corps formally selected Northrop Grumman and Kratos to build the first operational version. Germany announced it would test the XQ-58A alongside the Eurofighter. An experimental research demonstrator in 2019, acquired by multiple services and multiple nations by 2026. The speed of that transition is not normal for military aviation. It reflects a genuine urgency about what is coming in the Western Pacific. To understand why the CCA changes the combat equation so fundamentally, you need to understand 3 specific capabilities it has that a manned aircraft does not. First, it can go where a pilot's survival instinct will not allow. In a high-threat environment, the airspace over the Taiwan Strait on day 1 of a conflict, There are areas so saturated with surface-to-air missiles that sending a manned aircraft in is a decision measured in lives. Sending a CCA into the same airspace is a decision measured in dollars. The F-22 pilot can direct a CCA to fly into the threat envelope, localize the radar, and either destroy it or absorb the first missile, creating a gap that the F-22 then exploits. The drone was always going to be the expendable asset. Now it is expendable by design. Second, it extends the F-22's sensor reach across a formation that changes the geometry of every engagement. An F-22 operating alone can detect what its own sensors cover. An F-22 operating with 3 CCAs spread across a 50-mile formation has 4 independent sensor packages fused into a single picture in the pilot's cockpit. Targets that are over the horizon for one aircraft become visible. Blind spots become covered. The F-22 stops being a fighter and becomes the command node of a small air fleet. Third, it creates exactly the identification crisis that opened this video. When 4 nearly identical stealth signatures appear on a Chinese air defense screen, the adversary faces a choice with no good options. Engage them all and exhaust the missile inventory. Engage some and risk missing the one that kills you. Wait, and the engagement is already decided. The CCA's value is not only what it can do, it is the decision paralysis it creates in the mind of the person trying to stop it. China's People's Liberation Army Air Force operates more than 1,500 combat aircraft. The U.S. Air Force operates fewer. The strategic theory has always been that in a Taiwan scenario, China can generate sorties faster than America can generate kills, and that volume eventually overwhelms the technological edge. The CCA program attacks that theory at its foundation. If a single F-22 now enters the battle space with 3 CCA Wingmen, China's numerical calculation has to be rebuilt from scratch. You are no longer counting aircraft, you are counting effective combat units per sortie. One F-22 with 3 CCAs does not represent one combat unit. It represents 4 sensor packages, 4 weapons platforms, and a decision problem that forces Chinese controllers to process 4 contacts simultaneously for every one American sortie. China's J-20 is a capable 5th-generation fighter. In a one-on-one engagement with an F-22, the outcome is genuinely contested. In a one-on-4 engagement, one J-20 against an F-22 and 3 CCAs. The geometry is completely different. The J-20 pilot cannot watch 4 contacts simultaneously, cannot know which ones are carrying missiles, and cannot split his attention across 4 simultaneous threat vectors without something going badly wrong. China is aware of this problem. The PLAAF is running its own loyal Wingman program. The race to field the first operational CCA at scale is a race both sides are actively running. But there is one more dimension that does not appear in any budget document, and it matters more than any specification. An F-22 pilot is irreplaceable in a way that the aircraft is not. Training a 5th-generation fighter pilot takes a decade and costs millions of dollars. It produces a human being with judgment and situational awareness that no AI currently replicates in a cockpit. Losing the F-22 is expensive. Losing the pilot is a different kind of loss entirely. The CCA changes that risk calculus. The tasks that carry the highest probability of missile contact, scouting the threat envelope, drawing the first shot, flying into the radar coverage that needs to be localized. Those tasks now go to the drone. The pilot stays in the geometry his training was built for, beyond visual range, sensors fused, missiles away before the engagement becomes a dogfight. The drone takes the missile. The pilot completes the mission. For the Chinese radar operator who opened this video, the one staring at 4 contacts and running out of time, that is the choice America has already made. America has decided that pilot lives are worth more than the cost of a drone. The Chinese air defense network now has to solve for that.